Hi, I'm Representative Strom Peterson, one of your state representatives for the 21st Legislative District. Today, I want to talk to you about the high costs inmates and their families face just to stay in touch. When serving time in a state-run prison or in a local jail, inmates have to set up accounts with the private company that contracted to provide communication services. Family members and loved ones pay into that account, and the inmates are then charged to make calls, send emails, or any other method of communication. Last year, the average cost for a 15-minute in-state call from a state-run prison was $1.65, or about 11 cents a minute, while the average cost at a local jail was almost $6. That means on average it costs almost 40 cents a minute to speak to your friends, your family, and your legal representation if you are in a local jail in our state. And those are just the average costs. Some jails have had rates higher than $1 a minute. Local jails house two types of inmates: those with sentences of less than a year and those waiting for the outcome of trial. That means inmates who have yet to be convicted of anything are paying an average of 40 cents a minute to call their lawyer, to call for help posting bail, or just to talk to their loved one. These high costs have both economic and social consequences. Often, family and friends shoulder the burden of the costs, and no family should have to choose between essentials like food and rent and being able to stay in touch with an incarcerated loved one. Staying in touch with loved ones can also help inmates prepare for re-entry, be more successful after release, and reduce the likelihood of a repeat offense. Despite these benefits, inmates and their families have no choice, and without caps on these rates, they will continue to pay outrageous fees to keep in touch. Until recently, the Federal Communications Commission took steps addressing the skyrocketing rates for inmate communication services. Unfortunately, the in-state regulations was challenged in court by many of these same companies that provide these communication services, and the current administration has declined to defend it. That's why we must take action at the state level. This session, I've introduced legislation that would establish maximum rates for calls, video visitation, emails, and other communication services for inmates. This bill would also restrict commissions or percentages of the revenues and fees that the private vendors pay to the Department of Corrections or local jails. Establishing reasonable rates for communication services will keep the system fair and relieve some of the burden from our state's inmates and their families. That's all for now. Thanks for tuning in, and look for more legislative updates coming soon.